Hello, everybody. This is Justin of the Ottawa Expositor, this 6th of March of 2015. And I'd like to introduce a topic that I've been thinking about over the past little bit. And I think that this is something we need to look at. And even though that we're using an example of the past, I believe that this is still moving forward because I have a feeling that this is just the first of many times that this divide is going to happen. And I think the more that we look at the mistakes of the past, the more that we're able to prepare for the future. So what I've been thinking about in the past few weeks, maybe, I guess, loosely, and today I'd like to put it down on paper, is how we've been maybe not looking so much at the motive as what we should. And if we use, among others, a motive-based logistical viewpoint when we look at investigating hoaxes, whether or not they are hoaxes, or debating them, or whether or not we should emotionally invest ourselves into the debate and conversation, we should first take a look at what the motives are behind it, I believe. And along with other things, of course. So what I'd like to bring forth is, in the case of the plane, we had many different viewpoints, but two of the most divisive and polarized, to put it down simplistically, was that people that believing that they knew it was real, and then people that knew that it was a hoax. So we'll take that standpoint and we'll try and grow from that. So I'll start this chart off taking a look at the values of it, first off. So we'll look at the possible standpoints. Like I said before, these are two of what could be many. To think that these are just the two would be committing a false dichotomy fallacy. So we'll bear that in mind. The next thing in the chart, the next column, would be possible motives and reasons for how they could psychologically manipulate us. And when I say us, it could be many different types of groups. It could be the entire world. It could be one country. It could be one region. It could be a group of people or an individual. Now, what I see here from the plane, a lot of these hoaxes, they do have a very clear motive that you'll see on being pushed by the media. You'll see possible troll and shill accounts talking about it in the same type of groupthink mentality. And you also see just people that are very confused about what is going on. And basically, these possible motives will become very evident. In the case of Sandy Hook, they were looking for gun control, possibly to call out a new wave of truthers as well, maybe. But there was a very clear thing on the media talking like, we need your guns pretty much, or at least your ammunition, or just trying to take our rights somehow. You saw the same thing in Ottawa as well. The only huge motive, and I could be wrong on this, I would love the conversation on it, albeit please be civil. But the motive that I saw that withstood scrutiny within this, if the plane was a hoax, was it was meant to serve as a division and distraction within our movement. So it was possibly targeted at our movement. And if that was the case and it was planned, then they certainly did a great job. And that's what leads me to never say that this was, well, among other things, to say that this is not 100% real. I can't say that especially because the possible and plausible motive the theoretical one, anyways, works so well. Okay, so because of that, I don't want to say one or the other. What I want to do is learn from it. And on either side, right, the prognosis, if we get involved emotionally, if we take one side or the other, it's negative, because really the only purpose, if this was meant for any purpose, was to divide and distract us. And by adding into that, you're just adding into exactly what they wanted on either side. So if it was real, as you can see here in the second row, it was a windfall. Okay, and a windfall is like an unexpected gain. And It's just a term, I guess. And if that was the case, then the New World Order would not be doing their job properly if they didn't capitalize on the division and distraction that happened from a real event. So either way, whether it was fully real or fully hoax, if we had looked at it from a motive-based logistics perspective, maybe it was best that we didn't get involved, at least in the way that these two standpoints did, because there was no real winner in either side. But what we can do, we can take a look from the outside of the box and maybe take a look at it as it could have been either way, and that there are things that we can learn. And here are a few things that I think should be really important from learning from what happened. One of them being realize and study possible division and distraction tactics. So we can take a look at what were possible common algorithmic opinions that we saw from all these accounts that we never saw before. We can do things like that and see how they were speaking. Were they trying to encourage civil discussion, or were they trying to encourage a falling out, a further falling out? Were they trying to roll that snowball down the hill? Things like that. Another one as well, teach and love others that don't understand this possible principle that I'm leading on to. I might be wrong on this. I mean, I'm not a logician. I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff. I am just going as with all the knowledge that I possibly can. And I'm certainly not a game theorist, so there are probably many other factors into the graph I've presented. I'd love to hear your opinion. But if this is the case, that this motive base, if we had looked at it from this standpoint, we would have been able to see a filter that this was possibly not worth our time, when there was actually a lot of things that we've missed in the time that we've been talking about this. So if we'd seen that, we could have remained a little bit more productive. And I'm not putting any blame on anybody, and I didn't even think of any of this stuff until much after all the commotion hit its climax. So, I'm not saying any ownership on anyone for this. Play great defense and pay no public mind to division. So we're going to see, there's no matter what we do, if there is a plan to divide us, we're going to see it everywhere. So there's no need to add to it, right? I mean, if we can add a loving and logically debunking comment, something like that, that's not going to add fuel to the fire, then that's cool. But I mean, we shouldn't be playing into any type of possible troll or shill activity. And I know this is part of it, but just to hit it home, do not feed the trolls. It is the #1 lesson that you can learn from the internet. It is just, there is nothing to be gained. Absolutely not. The only way that you can win from a troll is never pay them any attention, and it takes away their power. There is plenty of room, plenty of corners of the New World Order bullshit that we don't need to focalize our hate on what is meant or possibly meant to distract us. So if you take a look, I can show you one right now. Here you go. The rebel media that I was just talking about in my last video, they just came out with the Michael ZEHAF-BIBEAU'S video that leaves no doubt he was a terrorist. And guess what, guys? His face, here he is. It's a selfie video, guys. You don't even, just go into this. I mean, we really got to get into this here now, but I just want to bring it home. I'm going to show you the links down to the video, and you can give your dislike on this one as well, and send your comments. By the way, the last video got completely flooded by the viewers like you. You guys completely showed them what's what. It was really great. Let's keep this momentum going and hold them to the fire. This is fake alternative media. I'm going to show you in the next video, Ezra Levant. This is this guy, or Ezra Levant, however you pronounce it. That's right, Ezra Levant. You know, like the L in ISIL, like whatever they want to call it, but in the ISIL, it's Levant. Okay, this guy is part of Sun News, and if anybody knows about anything about Canadian media, they'll know that this is no good. So please go over here to these scumbags, give your thumbs down, give them a piece of your mind like you did in the last one, and tell this purple tie wearing motherfucker what's what. And I'll be back with another video to expose them. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate your time. This has been the Ottawa Expositor.